Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm watching Toxic TikToks until I turn green. We shall be green together. Also, just a little heads up. The new merch line is launching tomorrow, June 14th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got Move in the Shadows t-shirts. We got one with Charlotte on the t-shirt and without. We got Recovering People Pleaser crew necks. Okay? We got Stay Petty hoodies. And everything is unisex. I don't want to hear, Charlotte, why don't you make some merch for guys? All of this drop, every single item is unisex. So head over to shop.charlottedelbray.net tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to grab yours before it's gone. Forever. Maybe I might bring it back, see how well it does.
If you're seeing this, please stop and watch because I had the most outrageous customer service experience without even walking into the building, and I need to know if this is crazy or not. Okay, so one night I was going through my little body dysmorphia episode and I inquired on a website for a place in Beverly Hills to see how much arm liposuction was. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I get it. Like, I just do that sometimes, okay? I'm insecure about my arms.
Same.
This was the place, so I typed in the info to be emailed prices just because I was curious. So the next morning, around like 11, I get a call from this doctor's office, and I'm on the call, and all of a sudden, the lady's explaining who she is, and I just hear nothing. And I go, hello? Hello? And then I hang up, because I didn't hear anything and the call must have gotten dropped, which happens to me quite frequently, honestly. It's my phone carrier service, probably. But then, no joke, I received this email. Hi, Kayleen. I called because you sent us a message. If you're not interested in pursuing a consultation with us, I will add you to the do not schedule list. No need to hang up on me.
Oh!
I couldn't even believe it. I could not even believe it. I opened this email and I was like, are you being so for real? Be so for real right now. It gets so much
okay,
worse.
Alyssa.
So personally, I sent back a pretty colorful email where I was like, hey, this is the situation that happened. But honestly, that was a super rude email. And go f yourself, basically.
Literally.
Then I woke up this morning to this text message from a random burner number.
Whoa.
Go lose some weight, fat hoe.
Whoa.
Nasty, go eat some salads.
Oh my God.
I said, okay, Elisa. Also, I forgot to add that the reason why she probably did this is because I was like, oh, by the way, I'm leaving a 1-star review for customer service. I don't give a if your surgeon is amazing. That was awful because the call literally dropped and you're yelling at me for hanging up on you. And then she said, this is her. This is her. I know this is her because
Of course it's Alyssa.
There's no other reason why I would ever receive a text message like this in my life.
Of course.
Also, just saying, I'm not fat. I am 110 pounds and I am 5'2". So nobody would say this to me. Nope, nobody would say this to me. But oh my God, was I floored. I was floored. I couldn't even believe it. I just thought
I'm
it was
floored.
so funny. Like, literally what the can somebody, like, I can't even believe it. I think it's funny, and I'm not looking for sympathy because I basically told her to go f herself. Like, I'm not looking for sympathy at all. But holy, what awful customer service. I'm just linking it again.
Oh, just for...
Her name is Elisa. Yeah.
I'm really curious. Let's see if it was review bombed. Anybody else want to see? Dr. Sean Unai, plastic surgeon. Oh yeah, so I guess it had a 4.5. It now has a 3.3. I'm appalled by the abhorrent behavior exhibited by the staff at this doctor office. My friend sought medical advice and was met with nothing but disrespect and harassment. It is utterly disgraceful that a grown woman, supposedly in a position of professionalism, would stoop to such levels of bullying and harassment towards a vulnerable individual seeking medical guidance. Okay.
Response from the owner, fake spam and hateful. Alyssa is a compassionate and caring individual.
Is that you, Alyssa?
You don't know her and has never met her, so why are you spamming my practice? You should be ashamed of yourself.
I mean, listen, I'm not telling you to go and spam this office. I'm not. I just like to read the tea. I'm just like interested to read the tea and like how they would defend themselves. Okay, but we have a part 2, guys. We do have a part 2. Yes, I also wanted to see the email that you sent. So let's see what the email is.
Everybody's asking to see the email that I sent to her, and I'm gonna post it. However, I just need to preface that I was very clear that I was like, I told you to go f yourself, which I did. And I said at the end of the video, I'm not looking for sympathy, because I was very rude in my email back to her, and I know that. And the only reason why I posted it to TikTok, again, wasn't to gain sympathy at all. It was like funny, because if I had been an overweight person, it's not funny, but if I had been an overweight person, that could have caused some serious self-harm. But I thought the whole interaction was funny because I'm not. And I just want to preface by saying, okay, so I said hello. As I recall, I requested an inquiry about prices. I did not consent to being called. Also promised me your phone call. It cut out and I kept saying hello, hello, so I hung up. My God, though, are you rude? Kindly go fuck. Leave me 1 star on Google for this disgusting behavior. No need to hang up on me. I did the SpongeBob letters because damn. Actually, no, I can do whatever I want. So again, I stood up for myself and I was very much like, you're a rude.
That's not even that bad, honestly.
You. And yeah, that's what I said. So again, yeah, I have no regrets at all. She deserved that. And then she texted me off a burner number, calling me a fat to go eat some salad.
Is it a possibility that these are fake emails? Possibly, but this looks like a genuine screenshot to me. Doesn't look like it's altered in any way. Just my opinion. Don't go review bomb people, please. I know you've done that before. I appreciate you guys sticking up for me, blah, blah, blah. Just don't review bomb anything that you haven't experienced yourself, okay? But damn, dude, that's some tea. That's some tea. Oh, man, that was good. Anybody else enjoyed that? I did. Oh, man. Does this mean I'm toxic? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Well, maybe I am. Am I? I don't think I'm the drama. I am the drama. I am. It feels so weird to not have nails on.
I was at a bar this weekend and I ran into 5 of my matches from a dating.
Wait, we're all there?
Was it?
Well,
Guy number 1 was across the bar from me. After making eye contact, I pull up his profile on my phone and I show it to him and we both smile. I look at our last message that he sent me on the dating app. It was his phone number with a message saying, text me, from a couple days ago. So I text the phone number and I ask, hey, are you at the bar with like a girl? And he says, no. I'm here with friends. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. We've made eye contact. We've smiled at each other. He's still staying at the end of the bar. So I leave the bar area and I run into man number 2. This one I also recognized and he recognized me. We made eye contact. We smiled. 5 minutes go by. 10 minutes go by. He doesn't.
Oh, that's awkward.
I'm like,
oh, God.
Oh my God. So then I go to another area of the bar. Guy number 3 comes up to me and says, your face looks familiar. And I thought he recognized me from social media. We start to talk and there's an older gentleman nearby. When guy number 3 says to me, I bet I can find you on a dating app. When the older man next to us intervenes and says, you should not say that to a lady. Oh. It is creepy. And that's when I realized it was not from social media. It was from the dating app. And then he showed me that we matched. I did not know that. And I felt embarrassed, so I went to another part of the bar when I get a text from guy number 1. Mind you, the bar is closing. And what does he ask me to do? To stand outside and wait for him.
No.
30 minutes to go home with him. What?
Stop.
What? My response?
No, absolutely not.
How
no.
Can you not even introduce yourself, but expect me to go home with you? I blocked him instantly and I left. The next day, I get a text message from the 5th person being like, I saw you at the bar last night.
But you didn't come up to her?
He didn't come up to me either. This is the 3rd man who hasn't come up to me while being in proximity to me, which only makes me think one of 2 things. Number 1, I am a catfish.
Oh, like, no. Oh my God, Gorge.
Yeah, like,
Gorge.
You know, like this. And like my profile looks like this. So that's pretty similar. Maybe the first option is
no, you're not.
Or the second option is that I am so sexy that I am intimidating the men. And guy number 2, right, texts me the next morning okay, and says, hi, I want to see you soon. And I said, I saw you last night, and you didn't come up to me. I don't know about that. And you want to guess what he said? He said, you have such an attitude. What? Well, like, what's the point of dating apps? If, like, we're gonna match, but you're not
weird.
gonna come up to me. Is there something
Yes.
I do not know? Is there a rule about...
Yes, I'll tell
matching
you.
online does not mean talk in person. What did I do?
Nothing. You did nothing. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. Dating apps are primarily for hookups, okay? Primarily for hookups. If anything else happens, then great. If not, they're primarily for hookups. Listen, everybody's talking to at least 5 people on a dating app. You know, in my heyday, I was talking to like 5 or 6. You're not even thinking about it. You know, those people aren't even real people in your eyes, even though I know they are, okay? Like a lot of guys, based on my experience, treat dating apps like they are just like a game. Like these are not real people that they're talking to. They're they're swiping. This is not like, they don't consider you a real person. So it's possible that, you know, they were talking to other people and they had other people on their roster that they wanted to hook up with first, or maybe they were with other girls at the bar that they were hitting on and they saw you there and it was like,
Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of put her in her place because she's from a dating app and like we haven't really met, blah, 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 blah.
that's what's happening. They did not consider you high enough on the like we are gonna tonight roster. I hate to say it, but hey, it's like, that's the way. It's not because she's not pretty. I think she's gorgeous. I think it was just a matter of they were hitting on other girls and they saw her and they felt, you know, okay, well, we'll get to her later, you know? Weird. You're better looking in your filter heavy photos for sure. Okay, no need to shame. Just because she has the camera close to her face does not mean that she's an ugly girl. She's a very pretty girl. Like, this does not have a filter on it. Like, you can see, like, the texture on her face, okay? Back off. I'm not saying she's not pretty. I'm just saying she wasn't high enough on the I'm gonna fuck you roster tonight. My now husband nodded his head as he passed me. We had been talking the whole day on Tinder and noticed we were at the same bar. He just walked past. And he's your husband now? It could be that you were intimidating or whatever. It's like,
Oh, whoa, they're real. They're a real person. Whoa. Whoa. Didn't know that.
okay, but like, why didn't you come up to them? I mean, good point, I guess. But you got like, now that like it's out there, you gotta kind of play it cool. And if both people are playing it cool, I think people are just like a little obsessed with like playing it cool, you know? So like you got one person playing it too cool, other person playing it too cool, and they're so cool that they never actually talk. Tinder comments, a meet and greet. It was literally a meet and greet, but you didn't actually like meet or greet. They don't want to date. They just want a quick ego boost and attention. Literally, that's what I'm saying. Most people that are on dating apps just want the validation, you know? There are some people who meet their partners on dating apps. Like, I think pretty much all of my friends met their partners on dating apps. But they had to, like, sift through the muck to get there. Even though we match with a girl doesn't mean we are confident enough to talk to the girl. Okay, Tristan, thank you for coming in with the facts. With the opinions, thank you for sharing. That is also a possibility. But just because you're like that, Tristan, doesn't mean, let's say, guy number one is like that, because he clearly was too busy with the boys to bother going up to her, or too busy on another date talking to another girl. So, like, maybe that's true for some people, but not for all. Things our exes did and still stayed.
Things my ex did and I stayed. He once locked me out of my house because he felt ignored when I worked and wanted me to learn what it felt like.
When he knew he was paying the bill, he told me to stop ordering food.
Told me it really turned him on how much I looked like his mom.
No, please, God!
He wouldn't have with me unless I worked out 3 times per week.
He would rip or throw away my clothes if he thought they were too revealing.
Went on a secret skydiving date and hooked up with my best friend, then continued to hang out with us in a group till she finally admitted it to me 1 year later.
He wouldn't let me shower alone.
Would hide my laptop because he felt like I was more committed to my work, which I was, until I'd sleep with him.
Cheated on me at a Halloween party with another girl who was also wearing skull makeup. Took a picture kissing her, and when I found the photo the next day, he tried to tell me that he didn't realize it wasn't me.
Oh my God. No.
On my life.
left the sunroof of my car open during a rainstorm and flooded it to the top of the car and wouldn't help me pay for the damages.
Oh, please, spare me, no more, guys, come on. Oh, God, please, no. At what point did we, like, leave? Like, what was the breaking point here? Because, like, this, like, were you just sharing your breaking points? Because you guys kind of had a lot of things to share. So, like, I'm wondering, what was the breaking point here? Because, like, bestie, come on. Not the mom one, literally. Like, oh, that is yucky. That is so foul. Ew. Ew, dude.
Tell me the biggest lie an adult has ever told you, and when you figured out it was a lie.
I am 32 years old. My parents have been married for 33 years, but it was only about 4.5 years ago when we found out the truth about their love story. Growing up, I remember being told that they met at a park and that my dad bought my mom lunch. My brother heard the same story, except they told him that they met at the mall. Again, the truth came out a few years ago, and it was because we were at a family event, and one of my cousins mentioned something about, it's, right around the time when Uncle Steve kidnapped Tia Delia, and I was like, what?
I was not prepared.
So then when we asked my mom about it, she came clean and she told us everything.
Wait, what?
Apparently, they worked together in Fletcher, North Carolina, and they had met at work, they were flirty, looks were exchanged, all that good stuff. My mom had come over from Mexico and she was living with her 2 older brothers. Well, they were really strict, they weren't going to let her go out or whatever, and so my dad just decided to take matters into his own hands. He got the supervisor to be in on it and to tell my mom that she needed to go work at the building next door for the rest of the day. And so my dad's plan was to scoop in and be the hero and be like, oh, I'll drive you over there. So he did that. They're driving, and then suddenly they drive past the building. My mom starts to freak out a little bit, and she's like, where are we going? And my dad says, surprise, I'm taking you to Georgia to meet my family so that we can get married. So at this moment, my mom starts freaking out. She didn't want to do that, and so she said that she even tried to lie to him and say something like, I have heart issues and I have my medicine. I didn't bring my medicine with me. We need to go back. He didn't fall for it, and so they just kept driving. And once they got to Georgia, my grandma was still alive then, so my dad introduced my mom to my grandma and told her the plans that he had with my mom, that he was going to marry her, and yeah. My mom told her, I'm not going to marry your son. He just took me against my will, and yeah, I want to go home. So my dad tells her, fine, whatever, I'll take you back home. But just so you know, your brothers are really strict. They're super Catholic. This is turning into an overnight trip now. They're never going to believe that you and I didn't do anything. So at this point, my mom starts to think about it. She goes to her room. He goes to another room, whatever. She ends up going back and telling him, fine, I will marry you. But the conditions are that you have to fund a trip for me to go to Mexico every year to visit my family, and you have to send money to my parents. So yeah, we thought they had a meet cute at the park, and turns out my dad full on kidnapped her. But yeah, I mean, a year later I was born, and then 4 years later my brother was born. And yeah, we just got back from our annual trip to Mexico, actually, just a few weeks ago. And they're building a house there now. I got to go and help them pick out the tile and all that stuff. So I guess in the end, my mom got her happily ever after anyway. And, she puts up with a lot, but my dad's a good person. At least he is now. She didn't really care about the 9 years that he spent in prison prior to all of this for a murder charge, but that's a story for another day.
So, wait, back up. Your dad went to prison for murder, and then kidnapped your mom, blackmailed her into marrying him, and your mom was just like, Yeah, okay. Sure. I'll marry you. Be freaking for real right now. That is so wild. That is off the chain, bestie. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, at least he kept the promise, you know, the like yearly trips to Mexico to visit the family. Like, that's nice. Like the cute family, right? It's a cute family. I have no words. Like, it's very rare that like I'm speechless, but there's just so much happening and there's just a lot that happened at the end of that video. But
Holy cannoli.
isn't it weird how like, when you think about how like men used to attract women, right? They like showed up at their work and like stalked them, like low key kind of like stalked women that they liked. And like we were just fine with it, you know? They like sold us off to like really old men when we were like 14. Men like paid parents for their children, or the other way around, really. And we were just like, okay. If we protested, they'd probably say that, oh, that she has hysteria. We must put her in a mental asylum. This video is called Leaving My Friend in London on Her 18th Birthday, Part 1.
Am I in the wrong for leaving my friend in London on her 18th birthday? Before you all jump down my throats in the comments, listen to the story first. Let's flash back to 3 years ago. My friend was arranging her 18th birthday with me, herself, and about 4 other girls. Planned a meal out in London, the steakhouse, bougie as f. We're also planning a night out afterwards. Now, I don't go out, so I said I'm gonna go home after the meal. My friend and the rest of her friends were planning on getting a hotel in London for their night out. Because I knew I was gonna go out after, the guy that I was seeing at the time, he offered to pick me up from London to then take me back home. Because I had arranged what I was doing, I thought I was cushed there. I thought, yeah, it's gonna be great, just gonna go out for a lovely meal, go home, chill. Beautiful evening. No. So the day of my friend's 18th birthday, I received a message of some of her friends saying that they weren't going, so it was only going to be like 3 of us that were going out for this meal and a supposed night out. I feel quite bad for her because she did have this planned out for like a couple of weeks. And then 10 minutes before we leave, because me and my friend were getting the train to meet her other friend in London, she FaceTimed me and said, I think I'm just going to get a lift home. And I was like, oh, okay, no worries, yeah. Then she kept repeating herself. Oh, I might just get a lift home. I might just get a lift home. I might just get a lift home. Look, whatever you're insinuating, ask. Just ask me. But she never did. I assumed that she was going to get a lift with someone else. Because she never asked me. Let's clear that up. Second of all, I know for a fact that the guy that I was seeing at the time would have not drove to London by himself to pick me up, so I knew his car would have been full. Get on with the story, Grace. Anyway, so me and my friend went to the train station and we had a coach replacement, so we got on the coach. Everything was fine. She just kept mentioning that she wasn't sure whether she wanted to go out anymore, all of this stuff, and I was like, oh, go for it, girl. You know, it's your 18th. Have fun, go wild. She was like, oh, I don't know, I might just get a lift home. Okay. Once we got to London, we had to get an Uber to a friend's house that lived in London, so there was only 3 of us going out. I actually think this was my friend's first or second time actually meeting this other girl. So I was like, okay, I don't know her, I'm awkward as f. We get to this girl's house and the vibe is weird. Obviously I've never met her. I don't think these two have even met properly. It's just all a bit off. And it was only them two talking to each other. No one was talking to me, so I felt incredibly awkward. And at that point, I knew I wanted to go home. Vibe is obviously stinky as hell, so we head to the restaurant. But the car ride was better because obviously you can choose your music, so we're all vibing to each other's music, which is quite cool. We were actually kind of getting along, which I was like more at ease with. Get to the restaurant and we're obviously sat down, we get our drinks, and my friend and the other girl say, oh, we're just gonna go to the toilet. I thought, well, I don't even need the toilet, so I'll just stay here, mate. What usually is a 10-minute break, I would have thought, going to the toilet, girls chit chat, 10 minutes. 30 minutes I was sat there by myself with my little cocktail, all alone, on a massive table for 3, aimlessly looking around waiting for someone to talk to me. Because I felt how stinky the vibe was. Girls, you know that feeling of when you just know you don't belong somewhere, you're not wanted. I just messaged the guy that I was seeing and I said, can you leave now? Because it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to London. They get back to the table and they're like,
oh God, oh, you just stop right there? You're just stopping right there? I'm so invested. Wait. No, we have to see the part 2. We have to. What were they doing for 30 minutes in the bathroom? I have to know. I have to know. Like, at this point, I'm already like, yeah, I would go home too. At first, when I read that, I was like, how dare you? How dare you leave her on her 18th birthday in London? But like now I'm kind of feeling like, okay, yeah, this makes a little bit of sense. A lot of sense. And we're just on part 1, baby. Let's get to part 2.
Back to the table and they're like, oh, we're so sorry. We're just taking photos. Oh, I didn't want any. Thanks for asking. If I knew you were going to take photos, I would have came. But whatever. So some time passes and we order our food, and yet again, Grace isn't talking to anyone because no one's talking to her. One of them situations where you can't actually think of anything to say because you're that awkward and anxious that nothing's coming out. It's like I've been mute. So I feel unbearably awkward, just sat at the end, and them two are just like nattering away to each other, and I'm like, oh, I want to go home. Food turns up, and I thought, oh, we're all going to be quiet now because we're all going to be eating our food. No. They're both still nattering away, ignoring me. They're like, and I'm just sat there like. So I then turn around and just say, oh, by the way, I am leaving soon. The said person is on their way now. My friend turns around and says, I thought I was coming with you. I said, excuse me, you never asked. But you were staying in a hotel. I thought you'd planned to go out with the other friend. No, you said you were going to get a lift, but you didn't ask. I thought it was going to be with someone else. This is the moment where it went completely silent for about 10 seconds straight. So awkward. I wanted to die inside. They were both looking at me like. I just turned around and said, well, I assumed that it would have been okay coming with you. I said, well, you assumed wrong. Ask. Don't do the whole, oh, I might get a lift home. Ask me. I look like a twat. Her friend starts piping up saying how disrespectful I am as a friend and that I'm not a real friend because I've just left her. So I haven't just left her. I thought she'd planned something else. If she was getting a lift home, I thought she'd planned that. If not, she was staying at a hotel. I just said, why don't she just stay at yours for the night? I don't understand. If you had originally planned a night out and you were staying in London, why is it all of a sudden the change? Because I've already organised myself that I was already going home. Why is it now my problem? Because I've already arranged myself. If you want to change your plans, that's on you. I called up the guy that I was seeing to ask if he had any space in his car. He turns around and said, no, Grace, my car is full. Can't take anyone else. I relayed back the information and it went down like a storm. I tell you, my friend and her other friend were absolutely raging at me, fuming. They didn't talk to me. Anything they said was rude and blunt. And I was like, this isn't my problem. How are you not understanding that this was never my issue in the first place and now you've made it my problem? It's not my car. I can't just dictate what happens. The other girl was like, we're waiting until he shows up. We're waiting until he shows up to see if he actually has a full car. Go for it then. What a weird thing to do. We're waiting. We're waiting. We're going to see if he's telling the truth. Off.
I find it weird that they're like accusing you of like excluding and like ditching your friend when they're doing that to you pretty much the whole night. I find that like, how does that even cross your mind? You know, oh, it's because you're doing it. You're doing it.
Oh, the bill arrives and I pay for myself and my friend because it's her 18th. Of course, I'm going to pay for her. The other friend didn't even offer. Because she was so annoyed at me, I didn't even get a thank you. After the bill was paid, I was so annoyed that I'd been spoken to with such disrespect. I decided to stand outside instead and just wait for the guy that I was seeing to turn up. I'm waiting outside. An Uber turns up and they both walk out of the restaurant and get in the Uber. Oh, bye to you too. Disrespect. They just ordered an Uber and f***ed off and behind my back. What the f***?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I feel like it was their plan to exclude you from the very beginning. Like they were just excluding you the whole time and they're pissed off that you're leaving. Like who wants to sit at a table where no one is speaking to you? I'd leave too, like f that. That's literally my cue. If like I haven't spoken to anyone and nobody's asked me a single question about myself, even if I've asked plenty of questions about them, just kind of sitting there alone, that's when like the energy just like
drops.
And it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Literally no shade. It's just like, okay, well, I'm clearly, you know, this isn't fun for me. I understand it's your birthday, but like also like, it kind of just seems like you guys are like on a date and like I'm not involved in whatever you guys have going on. So like I'm gonna go. Who wants to stay in a place where no one is speaking to you? And like they're not making an effort to like have you be a part of the conversation? Absolutely not. No. They're literally doing it on purpose.
I got left on my own in the streets of London at 2 a.m. by myself for 45 minutes. Scared little girl. I'm crying. I'm like, well, I'm by myself. What am I gonna do? The person that I'm seeing turns up and then everything's fine. I'm not crying anymore. Everything's handy dandy. My friend's gone back to her other friend's house in London. Everything's chilled. I don't need to worry. They're fucked off at me, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Moving on to the following day, I get a little message. Hi Grace, I had to get an Uber home last night. Cost me £400. You owe me £200 to split the cost. What the f*** for? I paid.
You paid for her dinner.
Dinner on your birthday. Why am I paying £200 for your Uber that you chose to get? Me. It was painful. It was a painful thing to communicate. Did I pay the £200? Absolutely not. Have I ever spoken to her again? Absolutely not. Did I get called a skank? Yes, I did. Let me know if you think I'm in the wrong. I wasn't, so I don't need to hear your comments because I wasn't in the wrong. In future, plan for yourself, not others. Someone says they've got a different plan, that's on them. It's not then your responsibility. That would be all. Bye, bitch.
Yeah, I would say that you're not in the wrong simply by the fact that, like, you went out for your friend's birthday and they pretty much just acted like you weren't there and then were upset when you didn't want to stay in a place where you weren't wanted. And the audacity to ask you to pay for the Uber. Where's your, like, bestie that you, like, just left with? Can't she split the Uber with you? Your bestie that you, like, you know, you guys had a little chit chat for a couple hours, excluded your friend, and then you went home with, had the best night out. She didn't offer to pay for your birthday dinner. You can't split it with her? She saved money. She could split something. Just saying. I don't know. I don't think she's a dick, personally. If she doesn't want to go out, she doesn't want to go out. She's not that type of person. She doesn't enjoy doing that. That's the vibe, all right? What I want to know is, how come this girl had all these friends that ditched her on her birthday? And I don't want to judge because I've been ditched on my birthday too. But I'm a bit of a cunt, so. But why is it that all these friends didn't want to celebrate this other friend's birthday? Left her to her devices with someone that barely knows her. Have you think about that? Because it's a little clear to me. All right, I'm officially green. Anybody else green right now from watching those toxic TikToks? Yeah, we green. We green as... Subscribe!